Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wild racing as we were having internet issues going on. We had to cut the live stream off. We will be giving you the recording of these final 40 laps of tonight's race from the Rover at the Dover 175. Caution flag is out. Caution thrown for Mark Labertone as well as Larry Yingling making contact. Multiple other drivers involved. Joshua Kanata, Samuel S. Garcia, Ryan Ferraro going to be involved with the wreck as drivers are currently coming into pit road to get tires, fuel, and get back out there on track. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. We also have Robert Moyer Jr. Rain Productions in the background. Again, we apologize for the fact that we had to move over to recording and have this after the race is over. Zach, caution flag out. This gives drivers a chance for fresh rubber, and for most, this sets them up with these final, about to be 35 laps to go. They are left with just one set of tires left. Curious on how that might influence things. We get another caution here in the next 20 to 15 laps.
This is going to make things wild, man. I tell you, because it's going to make saving kind of less important. And you're going to see a lot more people just throw caution to the wind here with these less laps, too. So, great job by Jackson Anderson. Ever since he's got the lead, he's been able to control it. And it seems like right when maybe the 27's just starting to claw into the lead, that's when these yellows have come out. So, he's timed, again, his run's to perfection. And we'll see here with what he's able to do with, I know, the 27 and I think the 15 now. With his Sora up third, you're going to see a lot of aggressive moves being made here to try to get this lead, I think.
If this is your first time watching the Trinity Racing League presented by Larry Arts Production, well, drivers currently are just finishing up their choose. That one line you're looking for is that first V. Dover is spelled out right in front. You got to make sure that you're on the left or right of that V sign. As long as you are in the clear of what place you're choosing. I'm curious if we can pull up the race report for this race if you're just checking out the Trinity Racing League for the first time. Well, this race, we've had only 3 cautions so far. 3 lead changes with 3 different leaders. It's been, you take the lead, you pretty much hold on to it unless you overcook your tires and you fall back. We'll see how these drivers can change things up as we've lost a few drivers under this last caution. Christopher Norris has called it a night. Samuel S. Garcia has called it a night, and a few others continue to sit in pit road. Up front, it's Jackson Anderson, Jared Talmadge, Vincent Sora, Aaron Krolick, Gavin Rogers, Nolan Hicks, Noah Steele, Cedric Hunter, Ethan Delaire, and Joshua Stovall. Going to be your top 10. Pace car into pit road, and it's time for us to get back to green flag racing as we've got ourselves 36 laps to go here tonight. The Rover at the Dover 175 is getting away. Great launch on the inside. That's Anderson Sora got to be battling side by side with Jared Talmadge, but Talmadge has fallen all the way back to 3rd place. Zach, this is the furthest back that 27 has been so far here tonight.
That it has been. I mean, that first run, everything went excellent, but ever since he's lost the lead, it's been a little bit of an issue. So now we'll see with the 15 of Vincent Sora up here, what can he produce? What will these drivers do here? The question is, who's going to play possum and try to maybe just ride here and save their stuff, hoping that the others really push hard?
As the field gets single filed out, you know, you talked about the fact of maybe they're going to be pushing as hard as they can, and one driver into the outside wall. Hard contact going to be made. I believe that was Joshua Stovall in the 1 machine off the exit of turn number 2. Just pushed a little bit too far, but seeing right now, early going, drivers aren't pushing it as crazy. I take that back. We just seen the fastest lap of the day put down by Vincent Sora, but everyone's single filing out as quickly as they did. Kind of shocked by that, as Sora is going to be getting another fastest lap of the day. The driver who's got the fastest lap will take away the Hot Lap Designs fastest lap of the race. As Anderson in first, Vincent Sora has finally emerged as a factor to watch out for as he's right on the inside of Anderson. Sora wants the lead, and he wants it now, but Anderson knows you have to stop the 15. Don't allow him to take the lead position because you may not get it back later on.
That is for sure, as these guys are going to race hard. They race super hard at Michigan, and we know it was definitely a lot of contact being made there. I think in these final few laps, if there's any side-by-side racing, there's going to be contact that is going to be made. So these drivers are very, very aggressive, and it's going to show right here at this end.
Closing in here lately. Also going to be seeing Gavin Rogers. He moves up into fourth, and we're now starting to see the emergence of everyone that has been a factor that you knew was going to get up front at some point, and everyone that's been here since the initial start. Nolan Hicks, who fell all the way down to seventh place, he's now back into the top 5 for that Taco Bell machine. We right on board. Gavin Rogers looking back to the 86, the 01. Kralik still in the factor in the mix. I mean, we're seeing a lot of guys that we knew that Gavin Rogers and Vincent Sora were going to be up front at some point, but how much of a fighting chance did they have was the question of the whole entire night, because Sora at times never even looked like he had winning pace until this last run. Rogers had given up so much time, he wasn't getting any of those positions back. This is great to see from both of those drivers that are trying to fight up front, as Sora just looking a little bit out of control on that exit of turn 2.
Lost that nose just a little bit there. I think he's trying to get back close to that 08, because I don't know if you're going to have it. He's into the wall again. Yeah, that was a very hard contact for the 15-2. So I think right now finding those limits, so to say, and he pushed very, very hard those 2 laps to try to have an attack on Anderson, and it's showing here to hurt the tires, it looks like.
And, you know, we're seeing that lack of experience of being up front. I mean, the top 5 is a completely different race compared to being just inside the top 10. Inside the top 10, you're 2 wide, you're 3 wide. Sometimes you're just trying to find openings to get by drivers. When you're up front, you're pacing yourself. You're not trying to push as heavily as you can. I recognize the fact that we're closing in later and later into this race, and you're kind of seeing those laps tick away. So we're getting more antsy. The anxiety of I must get to the lead now is ramping up, but you can't let the laps ticking away overshadow the fact that you have to have tires to fight in those final 5 laps.
That is for sure. Everybody right here is going for it too. So this is going to be fun to watch, because it is going to come down to see who is able to push the hardest without losing the tires up. So it becomes less of a who can save it better, it's just who can drive it better almost and be more efficient with the rubber. So we'll see, I think, a completely maybe different outcome here. And you could see someone that we haven't seen before really produce something big, because everybody just is in kind of a no man's zone of we haven't pushed this hard all day for this long, that it's going to lead to something maybe they haven't felt differently.
As up front, Anderson, Sora, they drift up just a little bit higher. Here's our weather conditions so far this late into the race. As in sim, the drivers are dealing with about 5 o'clock, about 5:50 is the time in sim, which means the track's starting to cool off just slightly as the race goes on. It's at 88 degrees for track temp, so that's a perfect temp to be racing aggressively. You've got the maximum amount of grip that you've been dealing with all night long. The wind hasn't been too crazy. It's been all about hitting your marks here tonight. And Zach, I'm looking at drivers that are outside of the top 5 that we haven't really talked about here tonight. Ethan Dallaire in 9th position, the 22 machine, started this race with an EOL and an end-of-the-line penalty. An L2 was given to this machine after last week's running in Michigan. He has done a fabulous job. He's been getting the luck. He's been in the right positions. And right now, inside of the top 10, maybe not where he wants to be, would rather perform inside of the top 5. But you got to say, with going to lap down immediately when this race started, to be inside of the top 10 here this late into the run, you got to take that as basically a win for the night of the 22.
That's huge for him, for sure. I mean, it's been an up and down season for this 22, and to start tonight's race off the way it was, and to be in this position, I think he'll be very, very happy. And right now, having a good run. If anything happens to some of these drivers in front, you never know what could go down. So position still to gain, as he's got Jocko Stovall and Justin Cable right in tow with him also for 10.
Trying to make their push forward. All the Fonseca, Nicholas Renner, that were once inside of the top 10, falling backwards as they've kind of lost touch to the fight as more drivers clobbering the wall. A little bit of monkey see, monkey do, and some commentator curse. We might not be live, but we still have the power, it seems, as going to be Dallaire. Hard contact, loss of 2 positions, and the handling looks to be fading away from the 22 machine. Also, the 8 of Noah Steele, the 01 and Eric Kralik, they also got to that outside wall, and they're starting to feel the pain as well.
Everybody here pushing so hard for the first time all night, this hard. It has really made things change up. And right now, look at this, Noah Steele, who at one point was a top 2 car, top 3 car. He's trying to find his way back up, and there's some contact between Kralik and like some Hicks. That almost led to a wreck, but luckily they all keep it straight.
Hicks just has been used and abused here of late. He's been pushed around. Once was just a solidified fourth-place runner, was almost a third-place runner. Now just trying to salvage, just keep a top 5 finish. He'll get passed by Aaron Kralik. Now falls to 6th place. Noah Steele, even with the slight content on the outside wall a few laps ago, he still muscles his way on the outside to get by. And all contact made. It wasn't fully clear, but what a save by Steele and Hicks as they continue to keep it pointing straight. And those are the moments where you hold your breath. You think you're clear, not fully. And Hicks, maybe if it was earlier in the race, he would have backed off. But this late in the run, he kept his foot in the throttle, and they continue to race on.
Wow, that's some great racing right there, and everybody kept it straight. That is an excellent job. As right now, the right ahead of this group, the leaders, they were starting to go at it there a little bit as they lapped Mark Laberton. A little bit of close call with him there, but this 15, he was able to get pretty close to the 08, just wasn't able to make nothing happen. But the top 3 have so far broken away as Gavin Rogers right here 4th.
His top 3 hitting their marks, getting on by. Mark Laberton, still a difficult pass. I think for the field, they maybe would prefer him to be on the outside or on the apron. Choose one of them. And he's struggling throughout the corner. But our top 3, Jackson Anderson, he's gone back-to-back and trying to make it 3 in a row. Vincent Sora, most wins this season with 4. And Jared Talmadge trying to grab his 2nd win, and a win here tonight could propel him into a closer battle for the regular season championship between Talmadge and Sora, which honestly, with the way that this race started, Talmadge probably thought, I could be the regular season's champion leader heading into that final race at Chicagoland. With all the times, all the cautions, Sora, once again, as always, just emerges to be up front here late.
He does, man. He is definitely being very good at closing it out here tonight to get the points to keep that top spot heading into next week's finale. But got some great racing going on back here as Kralik is able to make the pass on Gavin Rogers to move himself to 4th. So another excellent run from this 01, and really this lined up perfectly in my opinion. The last time he was challenging for the lead, it was about 30 to 35 laps into a run. That's about how long this run is going to be. So this 01 can keep that together. He should be able to keep bringing on this top 5.
And also, he kind of learned from that last run. He didn't need to push his tires too crazy to get up the lead. He kind of overcooked them at times. I'm still nervous for Aaron Kralik in his 01 because of the fact of how high he runs throughout the corner. It's just a little bit higher than everyone else, and it makes me concerned that those tires will not be there at the end of this race. But he is marching his way forward. I'm looking at the lap times, running faster than 2nd and 3rd currently. Kralik is catching up, and with lap traffic ahead of the leaders as they're trying to get by, this is optimal for Aaron Kralik to try to set up for a top 3 finish. If he could somehow rein in this 2.5 difference between 3rd and 4th.
That is, and the leaders just lapped Larry Yingling, who did take the weight the last time by. So Yingling on 52 lap old tires compared to the leaders on 25, and you can just see not able to stay ahead of these guys. But Vincent Soares, we have on board with him, still right here in the clutches of Jackson Anderson. And I tell you what, Anderson has done a great job just to keep this car out in front with the pressure that he's had with this 15 right behind him the whole time.
Everyone's searching. Is it high? Is it low? Talmadge going with a little bit of an earlier apex, trying to carry more momentum and speed on a backstretch, and that really worked out for the 27 to close in the gap into 2nd position. And that late apex, it's working here now, but with 10 laps to go, you need to start finding a better option. How do you pressure this 08 for him to make a mistake? Because he hasn't shown a weakness just yet. He has defended perfectly with every reigning driver that's gone by. He's allowed Kralik to get by once, but that's been only Talmadge, as well as Jackson Anderson and Kralik. They've been the only 3 to try to take the lead. Ali Fonseca was close at one moment, but it just didn't work out for himself. And now here late, how many more attempts do you really have now as Talmadge once again tries to set up a great run off the exit of turn 2, but Sora, he's too close to really even attempt to pass.
He really is, and he tries to get to that inside of the 08 right in the middle of the corner, and the 08 closes the door right before that, and it always kind of closes off his run. So if you're at 15, you got to plan out for this and try your best, because what he's trying to do is he's really trying to get to the left rear of that 08. If he can get to the left rear, it kind of gets you a little arrow tight sometimes by just getting the car right up against that left rear quarter panel. And you can see, look at the search in here, both of them going up the track with Vincent Sora and Jarrett Thomas, trying to find any little bit of run they can formulate here on this leader.
And these drivers up front, they're fighting back and forth. There's a lot more lap traffic they're going to have to deal with ahead of them, as well as this battle is Sora trying once again to the inside. And this is kind of one of the crutches for Vincent Sora. He is absolutely always going to run the inside. It is rare that you see this 15 try to go for a pass on the outside run. He is just so stuck in his ways of, I'm going to always protect my tires over everything. And sometimes it hurts him on a chance to maybe he's got the better tires to go to the top and to go for a pass. He's going to ride right on the back bumper, give the tap. Jackson Anderson pushed high, and now Sora side-by-side drag stripping their way down into turn number 3. Anderson must make this outside lane work, but he loses touch, gets contacted, tapped. Talvik spins Anderson into the outside wall, and able to keep it off the wall is the 08, but caution flag waves. This race ain't over yet. We're heading to overtime.
That we are. Get prepared, because this is going to be a wild one down to the end. And right there, I mean, that was just some really hard racing between everybody. And you're going to see the 08, I think he didn't really want to leave that door open to the 27, and the 27 was going to make sure he was coming through and just coming together between their two lines, in my opinion, where the 08 coming down and the 27 about a half a tire width, or really about 2 tire widths off the bottom.
But big thing here we got to watch out for. Vincent Sora, the initial bump right here, just riding right on the back bumper of Anderson, forcing him to go high. And that's where the opening really lined up to go for this pass. What a move by the 15. It wasn't a dirty move because it didn't force the 08 into the outside wall, but it's one of those moves where if you're the leader, you're frustrated by.
Oh, for sure. You're frustrated by it. But it's one of those moves where it's like you said, it's not a dirty move. It's just really being about as, unclean as you possibly could be without wrecking somebody. So it is very, very good. I mean, personally, this is the kind of racing you want to see. Look at that. Just gets the 08 just that little bit loose up the racetrack, a little tight, pushes them up. And the 15 then has to do the hard work down here off the exit and really try to make sure he doesn't lose too much momentum to make sure he's far enough ahead here he can clear him. So great racing, but unfortunately with the contact right here that comes, that yellow flag came out.
Well, drama under going to be pit road calls. Jackson Anderson, of course, falling back. Jarrett Talmadge falls back. But a couple of drivers attempting 2 tires. One gambling it all. Cody Reed, that gold 88. We saw him being the absolute just holder. He was controlling so many drivers back in 20th position. Well, he was the only one who decided not to pit. 34 lap old tires, damage repair on top of that, and he'll stay out and lead. Second, third, fourth position, Vincent Sora, Justin T. Campbell, Gavin Rogers, 2 tire call for themselves. Jarrett Talmadge is going to be the first driver who took four tires. Nolan Hicks took 2. Noah Steele took 4. 4 for Cedric Hunter. Nicholas Renner in 10th place took 2. Jackson Anderson, who was leading just a lap before that caution flag and being tossed around, is now in 11th position. Oh, what a nightmare for the 08 machine.
Well, it definitely is unfortunate to see him drop back that far, because he doesn't want to lose that many points that he's gained. So he needs to try to get the best finish he can out of this and not be involved in anything too crazy. But I'll tell you what, this is set up very interestingly as Reed.
What in the
EOL?
What in the world just happened? Was there a violation by Cody Reed? I'm looking over and seeing if he might have ran over that V.
He did. He just drove right over it, Sam.
He drove right over it. He didn't realize it was the choose. And he just drove over the midline. Cody Reed staying out, hit with an EOL penalty, which gives now the control over to Vincent Sora on the outside. Gavin Rogers going to be side by side with them. It's 2 tires versus 2 tires on up front. First driver who took 4 going to be Aaron Kralik, then Jarrett Talmadge. This is a roar of who can find the better pace and speed. Will it be the driver up front of Vincent Sora? Will it be Gavin Rogers, who needs a win badly and points on top of that? Can Jackson Anderson in 11th find some pace to get back up front? Because he's got a long road ahead of him. Zach, our first attempt of overtime of 3 if needed. And this has got all the storylines lined up perfectly.
It really does. This is wild here. The scenes that can happen. I mean, Reed there unfortunately making that just simple mistake, and just sometimes being the leader, the first one there, it's you got to be the one that's got to make that decision first. And if you're not seeing someone move left or right, sometimes you can kind of blank out. And man, that is so tough for him, because yeah, I mean, he probably wasn't going to win the race with that call, but you never know. Something could have wild happened where he got a great finish out of this still.
Yeah, it could have been a better points day than what he was going to get. Instead, he has to restart at the end of the line in 20th. Up front, Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers. They were competing on Wednesday nights on WSSR VRS Cup Series to see who was going to take that Season 11 championship. Rogers took the championship at the end of the night. Will he take the win here tonight and carry on some great momentum? We enter the restart zone. Our first attempt at overtime. Who's gonna get it done here at the Rover at the Dover? Green flag is out. Sora with a huge launch. Gonna be also felt by Justin T. Campbell. Rogers didn't go at all. And here comes the surge by the 27. Jared Tolmage. He's took 4 tires. And Zach, he looks good for now.
This is going to be a battle here down the back straightaway. Let's see what happens here. If we can keep it green, we'll get that white flag, because Talmadge is going to have the 4 tires. Does Vincent Sora have the grip?
As they exit that turn number 4, you look up to the flag stand. It's your Morecast. One more flag to go, as it is the white flag. Drivers are getting into one another further on back, but Talmadge, he does not have the space. He's got Justin T. Campbell to his inside, and Vincent Sora blitzes his way forward. The 15 gifted the control vehicle on the restart, and he'll take the gift in a 5th win. They're wrecking further behind, but Sora wins at Dover for the Rover at the Dover.
Wow, what a job from Vincent Sora there. Started this race way out back in the 30s, had to slowly work his way forward, and man, oh man, comes home with the victory. And that was the worst case scenario for Jared Talmadge on the 4 tires there. He had Cable get back to the inside and just could never get the fight going forward.
What a race, what a conclusion. And Vincent Sora, he's done it so many times already this season, and why not do it again? His 5th win of the regular season, 5 wins over 9 races. Zach, if you're looking for a champion, this could be your Season 1 Trinity Racing League champion. If he continues this momentum, there's still one more race left, but the 1-2 drivers in the point standings, they finish 1-2 here tonight. Jared Talmadge saw a chance to maybe close in on that gap. It will extend, grow bigger, and Sora gets to enjoy it. For us, though, we will step away. When we come back, we'll have a post-race show. We'll break down tonight's race and future outcomes that we've got for us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Trinity Racing League post-race show presented by Larry Arts Production. What a race we got to have here tonight. One overtime attempt as we head to victory lane to talk to the driver who moved the most here tonight. A poor qualifying run set him back to 31st, moved up inside of the top 25, and then had a mishap that dropped him back to the 30th position. And the night, though, he takes the win with a two-tire gambling call. Vinny, you get it done here tonight. I mean, how are you feeling after that roller coaster of an evening you just had?
I feel really good, man. That was a lot. That was a roller coaster for sure. I've had terrible luck on iRacing the last like 4 weeks, just nothing but DNFs and quote unquote mechanical stuff, whether it be Wi-Fi or whatever. I haven't finished a race since like Chicago Street Course. So yeah, no, that was crazy. In qualifying, I barely skimmed the wall, and it gave me a contact point, so I had to start at the back. My lap didn't get counted, and then I was driving up through the field, and my car was feeling really good, and then my screen froze, which has literally never happened to me on my 6.5 years on here, and I plowed the wall down and had to run the rest of that run with a broken car, and then I got it fixed, and all night I just felt really good, which is rare for me at Dover. I always struggle at this racetrack, but tonight I think I finally figured it out. I just felt super good and confident on the long run. I could make moves that it didn't seem like other guys could do. And then yeah, there at the end, Jackson and I raced really hard last week, and we raced hard again tonight. I don't particularly like having to move somebody for a win, but it just felt like I was so much quicker, and I could tell he was tight and struggling, and I think that was my only option. You know, he was just able to aero block, and there was nothing we would have been able to do. I did it clean enough. I don't know if he was mad at me there. He said something over the radio. I think it was to Jarrett, but it might have been at me. But you know, I don't, like I said, I don't like to move guys, but I think I did it clean enough tonight that it was just a good hard race. And then took the two tires at the end and got nervous because Jarrett was flying. I counted him down on that restart when I didn't realize he was the car behind Campbell, and then I saw him in my mirror and I got scared, but I think he got tight or something down in the 1 and 2, and I knew there I just had to hit my marks and I'd get another win.
Definitely an excellent job by you again, Vinny. I mean, like you said, invalidated lap in qualifying. Then that damage. I mean, take us through how much damage was that? Because it definitely looked when we rode on board with you, like it was definitely it knocked the toe out at least. Yeah,
no, it was bad. I was flying before that damage, and then from there on out, I was just so tight. It was like 40 seconds. I just couldn't get the car to rotate in the center of the corner or off the exit. So I'm super thankful for that yellow, because the race totally would have went differently if I didn't get it. But yeah, it was really bad. Super unenjoyable to drive there for those 30 or 40 laps that I had to do it. Yeah, like I said, just got super lucky with that yellow, and you know, changed the direction of my race, and I capitalized.
You certainly have capitalized. I know, like you said, you've kind of had a rough few weeks for yourself, but you look at this regular season as a whole here for Trinity. You have, even if you don't win next week, you've won half of the races for the regular season. How do you feel about this vehicle? Because it just seems like when you have a good race where you're not caught up in someone else's issues, you're the most dominant driver in this Xfinity car. What do you feel like this suits for you, especially this season?
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, it responds to the driver so much differently than something else. You know, it feels like compared to other cars, I can kind of manipulate this car to drive the way I want it to. And I think like the trucks in the next gen, it's just kind of everybody has to drive it the same way. You know, tonight, early on in the run, you could save tire, and then the car would respond to you well late in the run. And then if it's, you know, tight, you can try to drive it off the right rear, and it'll actually respond that way in some scenarios. So I think that's what I like about it. You know, I honestly still feel like I've got a lot to learn with this car. But yeah, a lot of the weeks it's just I'm so confident in my ability to be able to get the car to drive it the way I want it to. And you know, like you said, the stats have shown that it's been driving pretty good for me. So hopefully I can keep on doing this for the rest of the season and get a championship.
Well, Vinny, it was an impressive run to watch here tonight. Congratulations on the win. Enjoy it. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, just everybody in the league. We're still getting really good car counts. So that's awesome. As we head in the playoffs here in a couple weeks, hopefully it keeps up. You guys for broadcasting. Shout out to Danny and Tom, who couldn't be here tonight, especially Tom. He's had a terrible week. So, you know, just thoughts and prayers to him, and I look forward to having him back out here on the racetrack. yeah, all the admins over here and everybody who makes it possible.
That'll be your winner here tonight in the 15 machine of Vincent Sora. Vinny, congratulations on the win and good luck next week at Chicagoland to finish out the regular season.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
You too, as that will finish up our interview for our race winner. We had to second place to talk to Jarrett Talmadge, who, if you looked at the first half of this race and going into the second half, this was the driver to beat here tonight. Jarrett Talmadge comes away second at the end of this run. Jarrett, I mean, second place, obviously kind of a hard pill to swallow with how dominant you looked in the early going of this race. How are you feeling, though, just coming away second, even with the wildness that came at the end there?
I mean, I'm pretty happy to be honest. I do not like Dover at all. It's one of my least favorite tracks in iRacing. So to get pulled by half a tenth and lead the first, 60 something laps was pretty enjoyable. You hate seeing cautions come out when you got 4-second leads and it's looking like it might run green, but it's kind of how it goes sometimes. And then second run, I don't even remember. I think I kept the lead for a while there, and then I don't know, another caution. Jackson got it some way, and I was just kind of trying to stay behind him and Aaron there and save a little bit of tire, and I knew I'd get him in the long run. And unfortunately, we never got the long run. As it goes, cautions breed more cautions, and then that late caution there, I got nose damage from it that made it unbearably tight on that restart. Or else I think I would have had something for Vinny maybe on the white there through 4, because I know he and a couple of people took 2 and I took 4, and it didn't play out. It does suck to not come home first after how fast we were, but second still a good run.
Definitely still a good run, Jared, and definitely showed out a lot with speed here tonight, man. I mean, that decision coming down there, I mean, of course you had damage there coming to pit road too. Was it any consideration too there? Because we saw a few others and it seemed to work all right, but definitely you went with 4. So what was the decision making there?
Yeah, no, I didn't really have any consideration to stay out or take 2 at all. I was going 4 all the way because I kind of know how it drives on 2 around here, and it works. But if you get someone behind you on 4, it doesn't. They kind of pass you, and I was kind of hoping that would happen. I didn't really realize. I know Vinny had front end damage early in the race, and I asked him, how bad it was, and he said it was tight. And I was expecting it to be a little bit tight. I wasn't expecting it to it wouldn't even cut down center. That's what allowed Campbell to get underneath me off of 2 there. So, I mean, I was just kind of going 4 all the way, especially with the damage. I didn't really want to risk it. And luckily, I came out in a semi-okay position. And then with Cody kind of getting that choose violation, I didn't like where I was at because I figured he wouldn't go on the restart. But it ended up working out and still brought home P2, though. Like I said, it's a good day, consistent, like I always, but not really bringing in the wins.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of the most consistent drivers entering tonight. You were second in points, just behind Vincent Sora, and you've been having a solid season, Jared. You got one more race left in the regular season before the playoffs. What ultimately are you trying to learn and take in next week before we start the chase?
I mean, I'm always learning with the Xfinity car. I don't run it outside of leagues, let alone before this league. I hadn't touched it in like half a year. So there's always something to learn at tracks because I haven't taken it to 90% of these tracks. So Chicagoland, we'll go in there, see how it drives and try and, learn a thing probably with tire saving. Cause I know in the playoffs, you got a couple mile and a half, so that tires will be good to try and save on. So just really go in there and learn the tire saving lines, being more consistent. I missed the bottom a lot tonight, which wasn't really good. So got to work on that and maybe come out of there with another second place.
Well, congratulations, Jared, on second place here tonight. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to you guys put on the broadcast. Everybody who runs the league. Shout out to Vinny, Ike, and I think that they were just the only ones here tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, shout out to them for being good affiliate teammates. Shout out to Aaron and Dakota and my teammates over at Larson Line. But yeah.
Well, that'll be your second place finisher here tonight in the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. Jarrett, congratulations on second place and good luck next week at Chicagoland.
Thank you.
As we move from second place, we go down to third, where we get to talk to the 66 machine of Justin T. Campbell. Justin, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. I mean, third place at the end of the day at a race that kind of had you in an up and down scenario. You qualified all the way back in 15th, come away third. How are you feeling after this performance here tonight?
Really proud of the way I ended tonight. Third place. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. That caution kind of saved us at the end. Like, we had the speed, I felt like, just qualified horribly and didn't have a track position. Plus, I was really just dragging back for those long green flag runs because tire wear seemed to be pretty bad towards the end of a run. I end up passing all the cars that I let by, just saving. So really just kind of played itself out throughout the race.
Definitely a good finish for you again, Justin. And you did make the decision to make 2-tire call there at the end. I mean, definitely seemed to be the way to go. Take us through that decision call.
Just it's hard to pass here, and honestly I didn't know what to expect with 2 tires, but I knew somebody in the field would have done it, so might as well should have took him part in that opportunity there too. So luckily it worked out. I wish I chose the bottom lane. Like, if I knew Cody was going to get an EOL for choose rule violation, felt like I would have had a better shot if I started on the bottom. Just Jerry getting around me, it kind of hurt. Just even having a chance to catch Vincent, but I don't think I would have called him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, re-looking at that scenario as well, I could see how seeing Cody get called that penalty really did hurt a lot of drivers, and probably where they would have chosen if they had known that was going to happen. You know, looking at the point standings, you entered tonight 11th in points. We're heading to Chicagoland next week. You look pretty solidified that you're going to be making the chase. What's your confidence with finishing out this regular season and heading into the chase to go for this championship?
I feel pretty confident about it. Just got to do the same thing I do every time. Just play my cards right and just be there at the end for it. Unfortunately, there's been one or two races where I've been involved in some wrecks early and wrecked out, but I'm just gonna kind of play my cards the way they need to be played and hope for the best.
Well, we can't wait to see how you're going to perform once the chase begins in 2 weeks. But before we let you go, Justin, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Just thankful for the good race we had tonight. Just not a lot of wrecks, long green flag runs. Great teamwork with my teammates tonight. So move on to next week and try and get one of us a win there.
Well, we can't wait to see you perform there. Justin, congratulations on third here tonight. Enjoy it and good luck next week at Chicagoland to finish out the regular season and prepare for the chase.
Thank you.
As that will finish up our interviews here tonight. That was your top three: Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge, and Justin Campbell. I mean, obviously, those three, they've looked strong for most of the season, both looking, all three of them, going to be aiming their way into the chase. We look at the rest of our unofficial results here tonight. There's a couple of drivers that really stepped up their game and are aiming for a chance to make the chase. Fourth place, Aaron Kralik, what a run for himself. Was up front inside of the top 5 for most of that second half of the race and just stayed there consistently. You'll love to see that from a driver that's trying to find consistency throughout a season. Fifth place goes to Noah Steele, who was able to recover and rebound. Gavin Rogers, I mean, it's a top 10 finish, but Zach, that is just not what you're looking for a driver that also is going to need a win. He's going to be in a must-win scenario next week if he wants to run in the chase. Noah Steele comes away 7th. 8th is going to be Cedric Hunter, Joshua Stovall 9th, and a driver who also needs big points, Jackson Anderson, going to come away 10th.
Definitely interesting finishes for those drivers in the top 10, but as we look farther through the list, definitely some good nights for others. We saw Ethan Delaire who finishes in 5th. He was farther up in the top 10 at one point. Unfortunately, he's going to drop back to 15th here. Also, you had the likes of Larry Yingling back here in 19th and just never seemed to have a strong night. Cody Reed back here in 20th after that choose violation. Definitely going to go back and be kicking himself after that one. And then as we drop farther through the list, you're going to see the drivers that finish multiple laps down. And this is where things went really, really wrong for a few out there, as Chris Stitz we saw in 26 at one point in the top 5, got that speeding penalty, and it all went wrong from there. Got some contact later, and then of course the rest of the drivers just tough nights all around from the Monster Mile when it just sneaks up on you at the last second, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, Stitz, Shelley, Ethan Smith, also Malik Kuntz and Ryan Kelly. I mean, those are some drivers that we were expecting some pretty good runs here tonight, but situations took them out of this race. Once again, I want to say thank you to everyone that joined with us here on rewatching the ending. Because of the fact that we had internet issues, we were not able to live stream the end of this race, but we appreciate those that come back to watch this incredible finish here at Dover for the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Arts Production. The Roval at the Dover 175 winner goes to the 15 of Vincent Sora. Usually at this point we would say, hey, can't wait to see you on Wednesday nights for WSSR VRS Cup Series action. Well, WSSR is done. The season is over. They are off for this month. They will be back at the end of October for the start of season 12 in the Gen 4 machine. We're excited to see that racing coverage. So our next broadcast going to be next week, the end of the regular season. We head to Chicagoland Speedway. Should be a good one. Zach, any final thoughts before we call it a night?
Well, another great race here at Trinity, and I can't wait to see how the regular season is going to close out as we build up all this momentum to head into a chase format that is going to be all about consistency. So can't wait to see how that all plays out, of course, and definitely a fun time. So thank you again to everybody here at Trinity for letting us here at Freaky Fast put on this show.
Cannot wait for it. But for tonight, thank you for those that are rewatching the broadcast. You got to watch the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Arts Production. Season 1, Race 9 in the books. The Roval at the Dover, Rover at the Dover 175. Victor goes to Vincent Sora in the 15. We also want to say thank you the Pulsar Award of Blazing Fast TV, the grid sponsor of Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios, the halfway bonus point sponsor of SG_Racing, your fastest lap fastest lap sponsor being Hot Lap Designs, your white flag sponsor of Morecast, and your Lucky Dog sponsor being the Lucky Cod from Cody Reed. For us, though, here from Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we want to say thank you for joining with us. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else that helps out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. It was a pleasure to give the call. Overtime, Victor goes to Vincent Sora here at Dover. But next week, you don't want to miss it. The drivers have one race. There's so many that have different storylines. We could have 2 drivers win their way in. We could have 1 driver win their way into the chase and others point their way in. Who's making it into the chase? 16 drivers enter. We already kind of know about 10 to 12 that are set in stone. The question is, who's taking the final spots? We'll have to find out next week. Trinity Racing League, they head to Chicagoland. Who's in, out? We'll find out on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.